The city was alive with whispers. Not the kind that belonged to ordinary markets, where merchants shouted prices and customers haggled, but whispers that seemed to move with the shadows themselves. The old streets of Ravenspire carried with them centuries of history, and under the silver wash of the moonlight, every cobblestone seemed to breathe stories of forgotten times. Valara had never quite belonged here. She was new to Ravenspire, arriving just 3 weeks ago to work at the city's library. It was supposed to be a fresh start after years of running from something she couldn't speak of, not even to herself. At 24, she carried secrets in her eyes, secrets no one dared to ask about. And tonight, as she left the library, much later than usual, her steps echoed a little too loudly against the silence of the streets. Her hands clutched the strap of her satchel, heavy with borrowed manuscripts. She loved reading, losing herself in stories of courage and love, but reality was always less forgiving. There were no knights in shining armor here, only strangers who passed you without a glance, and shadows that grew darker the more you tried to ignore them. As she turned into Lantern Street, the glow of the lamps flickered unnaturally. Alara slowed her pace, an instinctive chill creeping into her chest. Ravenspire was notorious for its unpredictable power outages, but tonight the darkness felt alive, as though it was waiting for her. That's when she saw him. At first, just a silhouette, leaning against the stone wall of the abandoned clock tower. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his presence commanding yet strangely calm. His face was obscured by the shadow of the tower, but the faint gleam of his eyes caught hers across the distance. Alara froze. Something in her screamed to keep walking, to pretend she hadn't noticed him, but something else, something deeper, told her to stop. The man stepped forward into the dim light of the moon. His features were striking, almost unreal. Sharp jawline, tousled dark hair that caught the wind, and eyes the color of storm clouds. But it wasn't just his looks, it was the way he carried himself, as though he was part of this city's mystery, as though he belonged to its silence. "You shouldn't walk alone this late," he said, his voice deep, smooth, and edged with a warning. Ilara's lips parted, but no sound came. She wasn't used to strangers speaking to her here. I work at the library," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm just heading home." The man studied her, as if searching for something hidden beneath her words. His gaze wasn't cruel, but it wasn't gentle either. It was knowing. "The library," he repeated slowly, almost to himself. "Interesting." Alara tightened her grip on her satchel. "Do you live around here?" she asked, surprising herself. Why was she even talking to him? He gave a half-smile, though it didn't quite reach his eyes. "You could say that Ravenspire has been my home for longer than I care to admit." There was a pause. The wind picked up, brushing her hair across her face, and she quickly tucked it behind her ear. The silence stretched, heavy with unspoken tension. Finally, he took a step closer. "What's your name?" Her heart skipped. She should have lied. She knew she should have, but instead, she whispered His expression shifted almost imperceptibly, as if the name stirred something he hadn't expected. "Ilara," he repeated softly, tasting the syllables. "A name that doesn't belong to this city." Her breath caught, and yours. For a moment, he hesitated. Then, with a faint smirk, he said, "Adrian." The way he spoke it made her wonder if it was the truth. Allah couldn't sleep that night, even though the city outside kept buzzing with the constant hum of late-night traffic. Her small apartment felt strangely quiet. The words of the stranger at the cafe replayed in her mind like a broken record. "He's not who you think he is." She had only just begun to allow herself to feel something real with Rayan. His kindness, the way his eyes softened whenever he looked at her, wasn't something she could simply ignore. Yet doubt had now crept into her heart like poison. The next morning, she reached the university library earlier than usual. Bookshelves towered above her, their dusty scent strangely comforting. She wanted distraction, but her heart wasn't listening. Instead, every sound, every shadow seemed to whisper secrets, and then she noticed it again. A figure, watching from the corner of the library, half hidden behind the architecture section, stood the same tall stranger from the cafe. His sharp jawline, cold eyes, and the way he disappeared into the crowd before she could approach, everything about him unsettled her. "Why is he following me?" Ala whispered under her breath. But when she turned fully, he was gone. Later that evening, Rayan appeared at her apartment door with his usual warm smile and a box of her favorite pastries. "You didn't answer my calls," he said gently, tilting his head. Long day. She hesitated. Should she confront him? Should she tell him about the warning? Instead, she forced a smile. Just tired. But as they sat together, Ala couldn't help but study his every movement. The way his fingers brushed hers when he handed her tea. The way his eyes glowed with sincerity. Could someone so tender be hiding something dark? The night deepened, and Ala finally dared to ask, "Rayan, where were you last night?" He blinked surprised. "At the clinic, on the night shift." "You know that." She searched his face, hoping for cracks, but found none. His expression was steady, his voice calm. Yet, the stranger's words echoed again. Before she could press further, her phone buzzed. A new message from an unknown number lit up the screen. "If you value your heart, don't trust him. Meet me tomorrow, 8 p.m., Riverside Park. Come alone." Ayla's hands trembled. Her secret was growing heavier. And the man sitting beside her, the one she was beginning to love, might just be the very reason her life was about to unravel. The air at Riverside Park was colder than Ayla expected. A thin fog had rolled over the water, swallowing the lamps into a dull orange glow. Her heart pounded louder than her footsteps as she moved across the damp grass. Every part of her screamed not to come here, but curiosity had already trapped her. She spotted him, the stranger, leaning against the railing, a cigarette between his fingers. His eyes locked on her the moment she appeared. He didn't smile. He didn't even blink. "You came," he said, voice low and rough. Ala folded her arms, trying to appear braver than she felt. "Why are you following me? What do you want from me?" The man exhaled slowly, smoke curling upward. "Not from you. I want to protect you from him." "Rayan," she whispered, the name fragile on her lips. The stranger nodded, his tone sharpened. "Do you even know who he really is?" Her chest tightened. "He's a doctor. He saves lives." "A doctor," the man scoffed bitterly, cutting her off. "That's his mask. The truth is darker. People disappear around him. Records vanish. And when he walks away, he leaves behind nothing but silence." Ala shook her head. "No, that's not possible. He's kind, gentle." "Kindness is the easiest mask to wear," the stranger said, stepping closer. His gaze softened just for a moment. "You remind me of someone. That's why I don't want you to fall into his trap." Her throat went dry. "Who?" "My sister," he said. His voice cracked for the first time. She trusted him. She loved him. And then one day, she was gone. No goodbye. No trace. The words hit Ayla like a stone to the chest. Her mind spun, torn between the stranger's raw pain and Rayan's tender warmth. Both couldn't be true. And yet both felt real. Before she could reply, her phone rang. Rayan, his name glowing on the screen, made her heart stop. Her trembling hands rejected the call, but the stranger's eyes darkened. "You didn't tell him, did you? Good. Don't. If you value your life, Ayla, don't let him know you met me." Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed from behind them. Ala froze. The stranger tensed. And from the mist, Rayan emerged holding a bouquet of lilies. His face shadowed with something unreadable. "Ala," he said softly, though there was steel beneath the tenderness. His eyes flicked to the stranger, and the warmth vanished. The air between the three of them thickened like a storm, ready to break. The lilies in Rayan's hand trembled slightly, though his grip was firm. His eyes, usually gentle, now carried a sharp edge as they fixed on the stranger. "I should have known," Rayan said quietly, his voice steady but cold. "Still following me after all these years." The stranger smirked. though pain flickered beneath the mask. You don't change, do you? Hiding behind white coats and sweet words, making people believe you're their savior. Allah looked between them, confusion twisting inside her. You know each other. Neither man answered. The silence pressed against her lungs, like weight. Finally, the stranger spoke. He knows me well enough. And if you're smart, Ayla, you'll walk away from him tonight. Her chest ached. She turned to Rayan, searching for denial, for truth, for anything that could steady the storm inside her. Rayan, tell me this isn't true. Tell me you don't know him. Rayan's jaw tightened. He stepped closer, his voice low but urgent. Ayla, listen to me. Whatever he's told you, whatever lies he's planting, it's all poison. He's dangerous. You shouldn't even be here with him. Dangerous. The stranger scoffed. Look who's talking. Ask him about my sister Allah. Ask him what happened to her. The name of an unspoken ghost hung heavy in the air. Ayla's pulse raced. She opened her mouth, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, Rayan turned, his eyes narrowing. Your sister. He paused, exhaling slowly, as if containing something inside. I tried to save her. You know that. She was already too far gone. The stranger's fists clenched. Liar. His voice thundered across the empty park. You took her from me. You took everything. The fog seemed to thicken with every word. Allah felt trapped, standing between two shadows of truth and lies. Her heart ached for Rayan's soft touch, but the stranger's pain cut into her like a blade. Finally, Ayla stepped back. Stop. Her voice cracked, but both men fell silent. She looked at them with trembling eyes. I don't know what to believe. You both speak as if you own the truth, but all I see are pieces of a puzzle that terrifies me. The stranger softened slightly, his voice almost a whisper. I don't want you to end up like her, Ayla. That's all I'm asking. Ben Rayan, his expression breaking for the first time, whispered, please, trust me. Just trust me. Ayla's breath caught. Her heart pulled her one way, her fear another. She realized, with a cold shiver, that whichever path she chose, her life would never be the same. The park was silent, again until a faint rustle came from the trees nearby. Not from them, from someone else watching, and Ayla understood this was bigger than Rayan, bigger than the stranger, bigger than all of them. That night, Ayla barely closed her eyes. The image of Rayan's pleading face and the stranger's haunted eyes refused to leave her mind. Two truths, two lies, or perhaps two halves of one terrible secret. By morning, the city looked different to her. Streets she had walked 100 times now felt threatening. Strangers' glances sharper. Even the warmth of the sun carried a heaviness she couldn't explain. At the university, she tried to distract herself with work, but her phone buzzed constantly. Messages from Rayan. Are you okay? Please, let me see you. I need to explain. Her fingers hovered over the screen, torn between reply and silence. She wanted to run into his arms, to believe him, to let love silence every doubt. Yet, her mind replayed the stranger's words. That's how he traps you. That evening, unable to bear the tension, Allah agreed to meet Rayan. He came to her apartment, looking tired, shadows under his eyes, but the moment he saw her, his face softened with relief. You don't know how worried I was, he said, stepping inside. He gently touched her hand, his warmth both comforting and suffocating. I would never hurt you, Allah. You know that, don't you? Her voice trembled. Then, tell me the truth. Who was that man? Why does he blame you for his sister? Rayan looked away, his jaw tightening. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Then he spoke. Years ago, when I was working in another city, I treated a young woman, his sister. She came to me, already broken, already drowning in things I couldn't fix. She didn't survive. He needed someone to blame, and I became his enemy. Allah searched his eyes. There was grief there, yes, but also something deeper, something he wasn't saying. Before she could press further, Rayan cupped her face with trembling hands. I don't want the past to take you from me. Please, Ayla, don't let him poison what we have. Her breath caught. Her chest tightened as he leaned closer, his lips brushing hers in a kiss that burned with desperation and fear. For a fleeting moment, Allah melted into her heart, screaming that this was real, that this was love. But as their lips parted, she noticed something. On the inside of his wrist, just beneath the cuff of his sleeve, was a faint scar. Not an accident's mark, but deliberate. A symbol etched into his skin, a crescent-shaped cut. She had seen that symbol once before, on the flyer pinned to the library notice board last month, next to an article about missing persons. Her blood ran cold. She pulled back quickly, trying to hide her shock. But Rayon noticed. His smile faltered. His eyes darkened for the briefest second. "What's wrong?" he asked softly, though his voice carried a sharp undertone now. Ala forced a smile, her heart racing. Nothing. I'm just tired." But inside, her world was shattering. If Rayon truly was innocent, why did he bear the mark of the missing? And why did she suddenly feel as though she was the next name waiting to vanish? The next morning, Ayla's reflection in the mirror startled her. Dark circles framed her eyes. Her lips were pale. She hardly recognized herself. Every thought, every heartbeat circled back to the scar she had seen. On Rayon's wrist, the crescent mark. Her mind whispered, "It's just a scar. It could mean nothing." But her gut screamed otherwise. At the university library, she slipped into the archives section where dust coated old newspapers and forgotten files. Her fingers shook as she searched for the article she remembered. Finally, she found it. A small piece clipped from a month-old paper, for missing, linked by same symbol. The image printed beneath was blurry, but Ayla's breath caught. The same crescent mark was drawn on a wall near the site where a young woman had disappeared. Her pulse thundered in her ears. Rayon's scar wasn't just random, it was the same. That evening, Ayla received a message. Not from Rayon. From the stranger. "You saw it, didn't you? The mark. Meet me at the old train station tonight. I'll show you the rest." Ayla's fingers froze. Part of her wanted to ignore him, to bury the truth under the warmth of Rayon's arms. But the scar burned in her memory, demanding answers. At 10 p.m., she found herself walking through the abandoned station. Shadows, stretching like claws along broken walls. The stranger was already there, leaning against a cracked pillar, eyes sharp but heavy with sorrow. "You saw it," he said flatly. Not a question, but a certainty. Ala swallowed. "What does it mean? Why does Rayon have it?" The stranger stepped closer, lowering his voice. "It's not just a mark. It's a sign of belonging to them. A hidden group operating in silence. They don't forgive betrayal, and anyone who gets too close." His gaze locked on hers, disappears. Her skin prickled. "And you think, Rayon?" "I don't think." He cut her off. His jaw clenched. "I know. He's one of them. And if you don't leave him now, Ayla, you'll be next." Ayla's breath caught. The ground beneath her felt unsteady. She wanted to deny it, to scream that he was wrong. But deep down, doubt was already poisoning her love. Then, a faint sound echoed through the station. The soft crunch of footsteps. Ala turned sharply. Rayon, standing in the shadows, his expression unreadable, his eyes glinting with something darker than she had ever seen before. "You shouldn't be here, Ala," he said softly, though his voice carried the weight of warning. "Not with him, not tonight." The stranger stepped forward protectively, blocking her path. "Don't listen to him. You know the truth now." Ayla's heart pounded so violently she thought it might shatter. Between them, two men, two truths, and one terrible choice. And for the first time, she wondered if love itself was just another trap. The abandoned train station was drowning in silence. Only the wind whispered through the broken windows, carrying the tension that wrapped itself around Ayla's chest like chains. On one side, the stranger stood, his jaw tight, his hand half raised as though he would fight for her if he had to. On the other, Rayon, his eyes no longer soft and gentle, but unreadable, shadows dancing within them. Ayla's heart raced so violently she thought it might shatter her ribs. "Stop lying to her," the stranger hissed, stepping closer. "Show her your wrist. Show her what you are." Rayon didn't flinch. Slowly, almost deliberately, he rolled back his sleeve. The crescent scar glowed pale under the dim light, undeniable. Ala gasped, her knees weakening. Rayon's voice was calm, almost tender. "Yes, it's true. I bear the mark, but you don't understand what it means." The stranger's laugh was bitter. "I understand enough. My sister bore the same mark, and now she's dead." Ala looked at Rayon, tears brimming. "Please, tell me the truth." Rayon's gaze softened again, almost breaking. "The group exists. Ayla, a secret network, older than you can imagine. They protect knowledge, control people, erase threats. When someone knows too much, they disappear. I joined them years ago, not by choice, but to survive. Her breath hitched. And your mark. He touched it gently, his eyes dark. A vow, a chain, but not all of us are monsters. You're stranger here. He never tells you the full truth. Allah turned sharply. What do you mean? Rayan's eyes pierced the other man. His sister didn't die because of me. She chose the group. She wanted power, the protection it offered. When she realized what it truly was, it was too late. She vanished herself. The stranger's face twisted, pain and rage colliding. Plier. His voice cracked, breaking under grief. She would never. Ask yourself. Rayan cut him off. His voice quiet, but brutal. Why was she so secretive with you? Why did she stop answering your calls? Long before she disappeared, she wasn't taken from you, brother. She left you. Allah froze. Brother. Her eyes widened. You, your brothers. Silence. Heavy, suffocating. ... The stranger's fists shook, his denial collapsing under the weight of memory. For a moment, he looked like a boy again, lost, grieving, desperate. Rayan stepped closer to Isla, his voice breaking. I wanted to protect you from this. From him, from me, from all of it. But the truth is you're in danger now because you've seen too much. If they find out you know, they won't stop until you vanish too. Ayla's tears spilled. Then what am I supposed to do? Rayan's hand reached for hers, trembling. Trust me. Come with me. I can hide you. Keep you safe. Love you. The stranger stepped forward, desperation in his voice. Don't. He's pulling you in like he pulled her. If you stay with him, you'll lose yourself. Come with me instead. I'll keep you safe, Evan, if it kills me. Allah's chest burned, her heart splitting. One man was her love, her warmth, her heartbeat, but bound to shadows. The other was grief, pain, but maybe truth. Her breath came ragged, and then, slowly, she spoke. I can't choose between shadows, not love, wrapped in chains, not truth, wrapped in anger. If either path means losing myself, then I choose neither. Both men froze. Allah stepped back, her tears glistening in the broken light. I will find my own truth, my own way, even if it means walking alone. The silence that followed was louder than any scream. Rayan's hand fell to his side, empty. The stranger lowered his head, broken. Ayla turned, walking out of the station into the cold night. For the first time, her heart was shattered yet free.